What is up, fellow card fighters? This is Crow from Team Triple Sleeve, back at it again with another video. I just hope everyone's being safe out there, everyone's taking care of themselves, and things of that nature. Just really want to thank you all. We finally hit 600 subscribers on the channel. I really do appreciate each and every one of you all. Thank you again for all the love and support. But without further ado, let's go ahead and hop into that deck profile. So for starters, good old Chrono Dran. Alright, so we're going to hop into the trigger lineup first. So I kind of went for a different approach with this trigger lineup. So I run a combination of 7 crits, 5 draw triggers. I opted out of using the Sentinel crit. The Sentinel crit is good. You can pretty much play around with the ratios. It's totally up to you. If you want to run 9 crits, by all means. If you feel like you want to push for advantage, like kind of early, put your opponent at higher damage, you can run 9 crits if you want to. I think, personally for me, hitting the defensive draw triggers on your opponent's turn is very important, and also you want to try to get to your other combo pieces and your other units to try and push for advantage as well. And you don't have to feel too bad about drawing into your grade 4s because you can just normal ride Nextage in this deck. Last but not least, we have 4 heals. Next, we're going to move into the grade 1 lineup. So for the grade 1 lineup, this card is a staple for the deck. This card is absolutely amazing. This is one of the starter cards for the deck. This is your preferred ride target, if not the Steam Breath Dragon. But this card, ideally, you want to ride because you just get an extra advantage on your next turn. So once you ride him on your turn, on your next turn, not only do you get your draw from turn, you get an extra draw off of Tooth skill. When you have a card that discarded cards from your hand, so like say if you're ditching for the cost for Jet, or if you are doing Irkab or anything that discards a card from your hand during your turn, you can counterblast 1, call this card to Red Guard Circle as rest, and draw an additional card. So it's a free +1 of a cost of a counterblast. Another 4 of copying your deck. 4 Steam Breath Dragon. Generic grade 3 search. You just want to see a Jet. Kind of have to see a Jet. Last but not least, run 4 Quicky Quick Worker. With this card here, you don't have to run it at a 4. Plenty of other tech options you can run. You can actually run Bearing Rover if you want to in place of this. Also, I do understand that Tooth is kind of steep in price right now. If you're not able to get access to your Tooth, Bearing Rover is another good placement card to put in the slot. But again, Tooth is very important in the deck. He's also another good first ride target going second, because if you hit, you get the draw card. Alright, let's go ahead and move into those grade 2s. 4 Nabu. So its skill is when you attack with it, you bind a card from your drop zone, and your opponent can't guard with grade 1s or greater. So this pretty much forces your opponent, like in their grade 2 turn, it either forces your opponent to take an extra hit because they don't want to drop a 15k shield for a 10 block, for a 5k block, or you can end up just getting a 15k shield out of them as well. So it's a win-win situation, and then she moves herself into the soul and draw a card. Sometimes this deck has a soul problem, so this kind of helps fix that issue. Another mandatory 4 of, in my personal opinion, Smokegear Dragon. This card is absolutely amazing as well. So when it swings, it gets an additional 5k power, so it's 15k. So boosted by 8k makes it 23, so it hits with magic numbers. If you're going into Force 1, if you slap one over on a Red Guard Circle on his lane, he becomes a 33k column. Also, when you end up going right into your grade 4, this is on your Red Guard, you get Soul Blast 1 and draw a card. Again, as I stated earlier, Nabu helps you to fix your soul issue, so that way you'll have more fodder and soul for like your smoke gear and your Quicky Quick Worker. Last but not least, the last grade 2 that I run is Irkab. A lot of people are iffy on this card. In my personal opinion, I like Irkab. Some people don't prefer Irkab. I will work on this deck a little bit more later on. I'm currently trying to test Rover in, but just for the sake of this video, I was running 3 Irkabs. Now, Strobe Scope, I believe is his name. This card is absolutely amazing as well. I know this card is pretty steep in price. I think this card is like worth 25 bucks right now, or somewhere along those lines. Again, this card is not mandatory at all whatsoever. I just prefer it in my build. It's an additional grade 3 cost. So if I need to ditch to get ride a grade 4 from deck for Jet skill, it counts as that. And then also you can counterblast 1, ditch a card, and give your Vanguard an additional drive check. So when you're on your next stage turn, you can give next stage 3 drive checks. And on top of that, if you have access counterblast, you can ditch the Tooth from your hand, and then you can burn a counterblast that places on Red Guard, and then draw an additional card. Again, it combos well with Tooth, gives you additional dry check, and it's pretty good in the early game too. So if you're forced to ride a grade 2, it will either be Irkab or Smokegear. But again, if you don't want to run Irkab at all, this is also really good target. So his skill is that at the end of the battle, you Soul Blast 1, discard a card from your hand, and you get a bomber unit on your opponent's board. And if you're on a grade 4, you get to draw a card. So he pretty much refunds the cost if you're on a grade 4. But if you're going against like Neo Nectars or even Altmile or any deck that has problematic regards, this card helps to snipe those units off again. So if you want to, you can go ahead and replace Irkab with Triple Scope. That pretty much rounds up our grade 2 lineup. Next, let's move into our grade 3 lineup. You only run 4 grade 3s. Chronojet. Chronojet is absolutely amazing as well. This card is on attack. You can counterblast 1, and he gets an additional 5k, and your opponent can't Sentinel block him. So if you're going into Force 1, he's swinging 28 by himself with the counterblast cost. Or if you uncombo him off with your Nextage, he becomes 28 because of the 15k buff on top of his own 5k, which makes him 33. So if you feel like you want to play if you want to play a Force 2 game, he allows you to play a Force 2 game because he's constantly going to swing at your opponent for 33. And again, if you have your Smokegear in a lane with an 8k booster, that's a 23 lane. So if you can swing. Although your next stage turn will be significantly weaker because you're not going Force 1. So he'll be swinging 15 by himself. Unless you have a booster, then he'll be swinging 23. But again, then this comboed off with next stage allows you to go play a Force 2 game. Again, my personal opinion, I think Force 1 is really good. Gonna round up this video with our grade 4s. Mandatory 4 next stages. Skill is at the end of the battle, you discard 2 cards from your hand and you put him into your drop zone. You reride Jet from your soul. So once you reride, you get an additional force marker because he rides it from soul, not just removes himself from the Vanguard. So it gives you an additional force marker. And then he also gives your Jet additional 15k power as well. And again, his skill also combos off with Tooth as well for that discard cost. So that way you get an extra body on board and an additional +1 in hand. We also run 1 Metallica Phoenix. You can run 2. I opted for a different grade 4. This card is just only for the early game. Well, not an early game, I'm sorry. If you were forced to go first, you want to ride into this. This will be your first additional ride target for Jet, because next stage does absolutely nothing because your opponent has to be a grade 3. 3 drive checks, heck, why not, right? Last but not least, for the last grade 4, 1 Rebellion. Rebellion, you do not have to have Tiger in your soul to do his skill. It's just a hand cost requirement. This card is actually pretty good as well. So if you have like 5 cards in your hand, again, if you're playing against decks that have problematic rear guards and you need to get rid of those, you can ride into him using Jet skill, and then you can just bomb the 2 cards. If you have 3 cards in your hand, your front row gains 10k. If you only have 1 card, you minus your opponent's shield value by 5k on top of the other 2 skills that I also mentioned as well. Again, this card is just a tech choice. You don't actually have to run Rebellion if you don't want to. You can just actually replace them with another Metallica Phoenix. So that way you end up running 4 next stages, 2 Metallica Phoenix. And that pretty much rounds up the deck. Again, I really do appreciate all you guys for the support and love for the channel. We will be trying to push out more content very soon, trying to record some match videos for y'all. Again, I really do appreciate you all. Thank you so much for watching the video. This is Crow signing out. Peace.